We lead tonight with the Tablighi Jamaat. Now, the Tablighi Jamaat was founded in 1926 as a counter to the then Hindutva forces. That was the idea of Maulana Ilyas. It started out in Mewat. It preaches Islam across the world. It is one of the world's most influential Islamic seminaries. The whole idea is to revive the faith and to establish a strong presence and to ensure that the young and the old stay true to the tenets of Islam. It has a huge presence in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. More than 150 active million followers. But why is the Tablighi Jamaat in so much trouble? The Tablighi is in trouble because in the middle of March, they were organizing a big gathering near the Nizamuddin Dargah in their headquarters, where you had people coming in from the world over, from multiple states in India. This at a time when there were multiple advisories coming out, advisories about not congregating, advisories about not having religious gatherings, advisories about more than 20 people not getting it together. It's almost as if the Maulanas of the Tablighi were deaf to all that the state and the central government was saying. Now, the Tablighi finds itself in the global radar because this is emerging as South Asia's largest viral vector. Here's our lead story tonight.
India's worst coronavirus nightmare is playing out. A religious congregation of over 3,000 people in the heart of the national capital has sent administrations from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Mumbai to Dibrugarh scrambling.
दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट ऑलरेडी उससे संबंधित केसेस के बारे में वहां जितने भी अगर कोई हमारे को सस्पेक्टेड सिम्टोमेटिक केसेस मिले हैं उनको अपने हेल्थ प्रोफाइलिंग करते हुए या तो उनको फैसिलिटी क्वारंटाइन या उनको अगर उनके सिम्टम्स थे तो उनको हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट कराकर और उनका सैंपल लेकर उसके लिए रिक्वायर्ड कोऑर्डिनेटेड एक्शन कर रही है.
The death of 6 people in Telangana, all of whom attended the Tablighi Jamaat event, first forced the sealing of Nizamuddin West in Delhi. 25 have tested positive in Delhi and over 100 are in quarantine.
From Kashmir to Andaman, it's the biggest drive that's now been initiated by agencies, by healthcare officials. So in Jammu and Kashmir, in 19 districts of Uttar Pradesh, in Karnataka, in Telangana, in Andhra Pradesh, in Tamil Nadu, even in Andaman Islands, now an effort is being made. The biggest ever contact tracing initiative in the country is currently underway.
The trail, however, is much, much bigger. The congregation was attended by 3,500 people from different parts of the country and the world. These participants then returned to their rest. 4 people from Telangana visited Nizamuddin, out of which so far 13 have tested positive. 6 deaths have also been reported in the state.
Both the state governments, their different departments, they are working together to isolate all these persons, as well as the close contacts of all these persons were also sent into home isolation, and if required, they are also being transferred to hospitals for quarantine.
The most number of participants were from Tamil Nadu. Over 500 people, mostly from Erode district, travelled to Delhi. These participants returned to the state along with some Thai nationals.
Over 22 people have tested positive for the COVID-19 virus. Madurai, Salem, Coimbatore and Erode has emerged as a hotbed for the COVID-19 virus, with several people testing positive from there have a travel history to Delhi.
More than 100 people from Maharashtra visited Delhi for the Jamaat. The state is the worst hit by the virus.
Now it so turns out that this Jamaat has 4 markers in Mumbai. Authorities are now trying to find out whether anyone from these 4 locations in Mumbai had attended the congregation in the Nizamuddin area, or whether any people who attended the congregation had come to Mumbai or not.
Assam is on high alert as 216 locals have taken part in the religious congregation. The Chief Minister has appealed to all participants to come forward.
Assam Chief Minister Sarvanand Sonwal has made an appeal to the entire state, asking to identify those who have returned from the Hazrat Nizamuddin congregation in Delhi. The state authorities are also ensuring that every person who had travelled is being identified and brought into the quarantine state.
Authorities are now racing against time to track down the thousands who attended the Tablighi Jamaat and the thousands more they may have gotten in touch with. India is right now sitting on a ticking COVID time bomb. Gaurav Sawant, Ashish Pandey, Shalini Lobo, Sahil Joshi and Manogya Loiwal for India Today.
Now, the Tablighi Jamaat has put out letters claiming that they weren't in violation of government norms. But that's not correct. Now, I want to put this in context on our screen here, because on the 4th of March, the Prime Minister said publicly that he would be shunning Holi and that religious congregations shouldn't happen. But the Tablighi Jamaat went ahead with their plans of arranging this mega congregation. On the 12th of March, Delhi government said that anyone coming in from, they identified a certain number of countries from outside, they would need to quarantine themselves. Markaz had a lot of foreign people coming in, but none of them were quarantined. After that, on the 13th of March is when the mega gathering happened. This is when they'd already said that from 6 countries, nationals had to quarantine themselves. France was on that list. The Markaz organized the function, which had a French national who was in clear violation of the government order. That's not all. The government at Delhi now banned gatherings of more than 200 people. The Markaz didn't pay attention. They had more than 1,500 people at the very least. 1,500 travelers, apart from everyone locally involved in organizing the conference. On the 16th of March, the Chief Minister of Delhi banned the gathering of more than 50 people. At that time as well, the Markaz had their full shebang. The full gathering continued irrespective of this government order. On the 19th, the norms were tightened from 50 to 20. More than 20 people were not allowed. The Markaz gathering continued because they're now saying that once the Prime Minister spoke, but there's so much that happened between the time the Markaz gathering started and the Prime Minister started speaking. On the 21st of March, the Delhi government banned the gathering of more than 5 people. The Jamaat paid no attention to the directive from the Arvind Kejriwal government. On the 24th of March, Prime Minister Modi announced a pan-India lockdown. Even then, and this is where the Markaz now says, by then our people were already there, there's nothing we could have done. But remember, as I showed you in that sequence, there's a whole build-up where if the Markaz and its leaders had been aware and on ball, they would have sent all the delegates back, but they did not. We now take you through what their explanation is and what the government is saying it intends to do about these very glaring violations.
India's COVID-19 nightmare, Tablighi Jamaat super spreaders, and now shocking violations and lapses come to fore, which may deal a body blow to India's fight against the outbreak. The participants, including hundreds of foreign nationals, have been found, violating one government directive after another. The Delhi government on March 12 had ordered self-quarantine for those with history of foreign travel. That didn't deter any of the travelers among the 3,000 people who gathered at Nizamuddin a day later. A series of Delhi government orders banning congregations of 50, 20 and 5 people were also ignored repeatedly. But the Jamaat denies any wrongdoing.
अभी तकरीबन 1000 के आसपास लोग हैं जो अंदर स्ट्रैंडेड हैं, आइसोलेटेड हैं. बट आपको ये मैं बताना चाहता हूँ कि इस बिल्डिंग की जो कैपेसिटी है वो तकरीबन 10,000 के आसपास है. तो जैसे ही आउटब्रेक शुरू हुआ, इसकी खबरें आनी शुरू हुई पूरी दुनिया से, चीन से, इटली से, स्पेन से, तो हमारे जो लोग हैं, जिम्मेदार जो बड़े हैं, उन्होंने अपने लेवल पे ही यहाँ पे लोगों को आने के लिए रोका, restrict किया, कमी की.
The authorities too are accused of turning a blind eye to the violations. While the Delhi government failed to act against the Jamaat congregation, the Delhi police too was unaware of the gathering and failed to act. One French national who attended the gathering was also not put under mandatory quarantine. Delhi Chief Minister termed Jamaat action irresponsible and promised action.
कितने देशों के अंदर लोग मर रहे हैं. ऐसी स्थिति में भी अगर हम इस तरह की गैर जिम्मेदाराना हरकत करेंगे कि इतने लोगों को हमने एक जगह इकट्ठा किया, ऐसे में इस तरह की इतनी बड़ी गैदरिंग करना बिल्कुल गलत था। इस मामले में कल शाम को ही दिल्ली सरकार ने एलजी साहब को लिखा था कि इस मामले में एफआईआर दर्ज की जाए। मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि एलजी साहब तुरंत जल्द इस पे आदेश दे देंगे।
With all-round failure by the organizers, Delhi government and police, has Delhi been betrayed?
The authorities of Markaz Nizamuddin maintains that they informed the local police and government authorities about the number of people staying inside their premises. The government on the other side is blaming them for allowing such large crowd to gather. Now the police has started an investigation and they are in process to file a criminal case against Markaz Nizamuddin and their authority members. With camera person Pawan, Tanseem Haider and Arvind Oja, this is Munish Pandey in Delhi for India Today.
This could end up being a massive nightmare, and there are critical questions that need to be answered, most importantly by those who led the delegation and this congregation at the Markaz. How were nationals of 281 countries allowed in, especially when there were advisories about self-quarantine of people coming in from certain countries? Why were those advisories not followed? Questions about whether they had government permit, whether once the government is telling them that you shouldn't have gatherings of more than 5, 20, 50 people, why were they not paying attention to those very public advisories? Most importantly, the Nizamuddin police station is literally a stone's throw away. What was the local SHO doing? Why did he not step in? And this is not a small gathering. Surely the ACP, the DCP, they knew about what was happening. Why did they not intervene? Why didn't the state government act as well? You know this is happening on your watch. Surely you can step in and ensure that the Markaz follows its advice. If they're not, you can act against them at that very moment itself. Also, are they now just trying to deflect blame? Markaz says, by then the Prime Minister had already announced the lockdown, everyone is already here, what could we do? Well, there was a lot that could have been done in the 2 weeks before that. And why was that not done? Yasmeen Kidwai joins us. She's a local councillor, and for a medical perspective and the kind of trouble this gathering could have caused, I'm joined by Sanjeev Begai. Dr. Begai is the chairperson of Nephron Clinics. Yasmeen Kidwai, as somebody who has some understanding of how the Tablighi Jamaat operates, do you not think what the leaders of this organization did is very, very sinful and totally unacceptable? To continue despite very clear public guidelines on not allowing for large congregations is a sheer violation. Should these people not be booked? Should the strictest action not be taken against them, Yasmin?
Rahul, at the onset, I'd like to say that I am not a spokesperson of the Jamaat and the Markaz, and nor am I going to speak on their behalf. But what I think is that there was a gross violation of any kind of advisories which were issued by the government. There were no clear directions. You yourself, when you started this show, you're saying that the Prime Minister shunned a holy function. So are we supposed to read meanings into this? I am not here to defend the Jamaat, but I do want to very clearly state that this was a ticking time bomb. The police, the state government, everybody was aware that there are foreign nationals in the Markaz. The Markaz is a building. Apparently, the congregation that they had was over much before in the first, I think on the 8th, 9th or 10th of March. After that, and this case which happened in Kashmir, apparently that was traced down to this Markaz. So why was action not taken earlier? At this point of time, why is this kind of tinge being given that it is the Jamaat's fault? And I feel, why were visas given to these people, the foreign nationals? Why did we not have stricter advisories in place?
Let Sanjeev Begai respond to some of this. Your principal point is that the Prime Minister said he will not do a Holi Milan, but even at that time, there was talk of a big Ayodhya Ram Navami celebration that hadn't been cancelled, and they just went on because there was no specific guideline. That's the clear defense. And you're also saying that, why weren't visas cancelled? If the Markaz didn't operate, why didn't the police or the Ministry of External Affairs cancel their visas? But Dr. Begai, how big a crime do you think this is? What kind of consequences could we have to bear?
Good evening, Rahul. Right at the preface, what I would like to mention is that I'm keeping my discussion completely apolitical and with no religious bias or preference. My only religion is that I'm a doctor and I'm an Indian first of all. And most importantly, this particular event is maybe actually a troublesome moment for us. Very often we wait for decades and nothing happens, and then suddenly a week like this, in a congregation like this, decades can happen and perhaps push us back. Talking from a pure medical point of view, the advisories are there. I won't go into the dates and details, not only the lockdown, but previous to that with regards to the limitation of crowd gathering of 200 or 50 or of 20 and above. There are government advisories given both by state and by central government, pretty clear. We knew that this infection is spreading worldwide, and the pandemic was called by the WHO. Now, my concerns are this. We have more than a probable number of 2,000 or 3,000 or 3,500, whatever the number may be. This is actually a potpourri of a very closed gathering where the infection, of course, can spread very, very fast. My second point is, in case we have a super spreader, which perhaps there may be in this kind of gathering, then the infection can go even quicker. Now, to give you an example, one person over a period of 10 to 15 days can potentially infect more than 50,000 people. If you just multiply this by 2,000 or 3,000 as a number, we are going into many 100,000 lakhs of people who potentially can get infected.
I mean, Kidwai, you need to respond to this, because you can't make it seem as if, oh, the Ministry of External Affairs didn't interfere, the police there didn't do anything. These are educated people. It has a massive following across the world. Surely they were reading the newspaper, watching television. The government is saying, forget the Prime Minister and leave that on the side. The government said specifically more than 50 people should not be at one place. There were more than 1,500 people at the very least. Then the government said more than 20 people should not be there. Even at that time, and we'll pull that out. I'll show you each one of the violations. Even at that time, there were more than 1,500 people. And the government said more than 5 people should not be at the same place. Even at that time, there were more than 1,500 people, Yasmin Kidwai.
Am I answering for the markers now?
I'm just explaining, because you are making the point that there are others who should step in and action should be taken against them. But this is what the markers needs to answer for.
My point is this, that we knew a corona epidemic was on its way. In January, the first case had come. My point is, why were visas issued to foreign nationals coming into the country? There were many people from Indonesia and Malaysia. Why were they allowed into the country in the first place? Now, that is the point that I am making. I am not talking about the education level of the people inside over there. And once the people were inside that and a lockdown has been put in place, what are the guidelines which are issued? My point is, this has been a lockdown and we have not gone into this corona epidemic period with any kind of planning. So now if people are in a building, what do you expect them to do? If they had come out, they would have probably caused
Bagai
more.
wants to come in on this. Dr. Bagai, this is the point that Markaz makes again and again. Our people were already there. There are many old, aged people, many young people that are away from their parents. Many parents often to indoctrinate their children and show them the way of God, send them to the Markaz. Now, how can you blame us? Hamare log to aa chuke the.
Yeah, Rahul, just give me 60 seconds uninterrupted, and I want to make very, very important, pertinent points here. We have a particular building. There was a statement made by my learned gentleman from that congregation. I think there were about 2 or 3 or 3,500 or whatever number of thousands of people accumulated there. He said that this building has a capacity of 10,000. Completely wrong. I mean, this is going to give huge amount of risk for fire, for evacuation, for sanitation. We know that this virus also has a fecal transmission, fecal-oral route. What is the sanitation level? What are the toilet levels? Is this going to go and spread into the community? These are very, very important points. India already has limited healthcare resources. We know that. And to do contact tracing now for thousands and hundreds of thousands of people pan-India across many states, it's a monumental task.
Absolutely, and hear this very carefully. We're just receiving information from the Delhi government that 441, yes, 441 people are currently showing symptoms similar to the corona virus. the tests have been done. Ankit Tyagi joins us. That's what your sources are telling you, that of the 1,500 odd people, 441 at this time are showing symptoms?
They already are in hospitals. Tests have been done. Their results is awaited. And just to put this in context, overall there are 714 people in various Delhi hospitals, those who are right now with symptoms of coronavirus. Out of that, 441, about 60% of these people are only coming from the Tablighi Jamaat. Apart from that, there are 24 positive cases of coronavirus of the total 97 in Delhi, which are from Tablighi Jamaat. The Delhi government till March 31st had arrangement of 1,000 beds. As far as coronavirus patients are concerned, they are on a war footing now, doubling it down in the next couple of days to 2,000, because they are expecting, Rahul, that out of the 1,548 total people, those who have been put out, many could test positive, and then they will have to completely double, triple their efforts as far as the coronavirus fight is concerned.
And remember, in a country like South Korea, in a country like China, contact tracing, because they're using very advanced technologies, is still possible. In a country like India, it is a nightmare. This is India's biggest nightmare, a bit like the Church of Jesus gathering in South Korea, which is where that entire pandemic spread like wildfire through the country. Ankit Tyagi, Yasmin Kidwai, Dr. Bagai for joining me. Thank you very much. I want to shift our attention now to the problems with personal protective equipment, PPE. Now, we know that in India, there's a shortage of the kind of very sophisticated, advanced PPE that is required at a time of a viral that's as contagious as the coronavirus. However, people are now making do. We've got pictures coming in from Maharashtra, from West Bengal, where they're using raincoats as they go in the hope that this would help them and provide some protection. Now, the government is making some efforts to bring in PPE imported on an immediate basis, but this is a big problem that needs to be looked at very carefully, and that's exactly what we're hoping to do.
Coronavirus in the forefront of India's virus fight are forced to go to the war without their armor. Many of the doctors attending to the patients suspected of the highly contagious disease in Maharashtra's Nandurbar were given raincoats in place of personal protective gear. Doctors in West Bengal's Siliguri too had just raincoat as protection while dealing with the patients.
No supply of any mask is there in the ward. Only this mask made up of bed sheet, bicut bed sheet, cotton mask, which is absolutely unscientific and not recommended. Surgical mask is the least, at least they should provide.
In Bihar's Patna, most doctors have shut private clinics due to the fear of coronavirus infection, as there is an acute shortage of suits which prevent virus infection.
जो हम लोग सैनिटेशन के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से जितने भी सामानों की ज़रूरत पड़ रही है कि सैनिटाइजर चाहिए, ग्लव्स चाहिए, मास्क चाहिए, या जो भी हमारे पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ काम कर रहे हैं, सुपरदाई काम कर रहे हैं, उन लोगों का जो पर्सनल एक सेफ्टी कंसर्न है, उन सारी चीज़ों को एक तो मिल नहीं पा रहा है, और मिल भी पा रहा है तो बहुत ऊंचे दामों पे मिल रहा है और सफिशिएंट अमाउंट पे मिल नहीं पा रहा है.
Facing flack for exposing healthcare workers to hazard, the centre has initiated an ambitious shopping drive to acquire the medical hazard suits. The centre has ordered 21 lakh protective suits. Currently, 3.34 lakh such gears are available, and another 3 lakh will be available by 4th of April. The Red Cross has donated 10,000 hazard suits for medical professionals. South Korean firms will also start supplying another 20 lakh body suits in 10 days. The DRDO will also produce 20,000 N99 masks per day by next week. A Noida-based firm will manufacture 10,000 ventilators within a month.
हमने देश के अंदर ही मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और प्रोक्योरमेंट प्रोसेस फॉर PPEs, वेंटिलेटर्स और साथ में N95 मास्क के लिए रैंप अप किया हुआ है. इसके साथ ही हम अब पैरेलली विदेशों से भी जहां से भी हम उन चीज़ों को ला सकते हैं उसके लिए प्रयत्न कर रहे हैं.
India is well short of hospitals and healthcare professionals as compared to its gigantic population when it comes to the World Health Organization norms. But experts say India can fight this deadly pandemic with better logistics management. After initial criticism, looks like the government has finally kicked off full-scale preparations. With camera person Satyaranjan, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
Now, there are three separate data points that could offer India some hope, because the big question that everyone has in their minds is, can we somehow get away with a less virulent strain of this virus? Will the blow be soft in India? One is the fact that in the amount of time it took to go from 100 cases to 1,000, India is the second slowest, just after Japan. Every other country jumped much faster. Then there is a new study that came out just today, which says that all countries that get a TB vaccine, the BCG vaccine, are seeing lesser incidence than countries like America, Spain, Italy, where BCG is not compulsory. Then there is the MIT study, which says the hotter the country, the lesser the incidence of corona strains.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kanwal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.